Chinese medicine as a whole, and therefore Chinese herbs, works on the principle of Gan Ying, a related term, translated by various scholars as various things. Corker translates it as something so complicated that I can't even remember it. Correspondence is a common way of translating it. I like resonance. That's how Heiner Fruhoff translates it. That it works on principles of resonance. This is very different than the way Western herbalism works or the way shamanic herbalism works. In shamanic herbalism, it's really a relationship brokered between the practitioner and the plant. I think the story of Joe Pyeweed is probably the most famous example of that. I heard this at an herb meeting at TAI. Somebody told the story about how Joe Pyeweed is because of this Appalachian healer guy who somebody came to him with diarrhea, he'd give them Joe Pyeweed, this one plant. And then if they had constipation, it was still the same plant. They had menstrual cramps, this is the plant. If they had corns on their feet that were aching, this plant. When he died, it didn't work anymore. Because it was his relationship with the plant that made it particularly powerful. This is completely valid. It is, however, not Chinese medicine, which is a lineage tradition, which is much more based on what is the nature of a particular plant such that it can be counted on reliably to have that nature. In other words, there's some people I will pick up at the airport at 3 a.m. Not many. Not many. Okay? But if you want me to put something ineffable into words, I'll do that for anybody. I love putting things into words. You just kind of stand there going, well, it's kind of like, I sort of feel like, and I'll be like, is it like this? And I'll be perfectly happy, and I'm like, yeah, it's like that. So this is because it's part of my nature that certain things come easily. That's what it's like. You can count on that. And this is very different than the shamanic relationship where this plant will pick you up at the airport at 3 a.m. or get your groceries for you or cure the cord, like, because of a particular brokered commitment. So that's one difference. In the lineage transmission based on resonance or Gan Ying, what we're learning is what is the feel of, the, what do they call it, the effective nature of the plant. Such that, like, that's how it goes bopping down the street. So if that's what kind of thing you want going on at a certain dinner party, you invite that person because you know that they'll be telling Civil War stories. Because they always get to telling Civil War stories. So, all right, invite them if that's what you want. If that's not what you want, don't invite them. This is how it goes. That kind of a situation. What differentiates it from Western herbalism is that Western herbalism is working through linear causality, through straightforward biochemical cause and effect. You're having hot flashes. How many phytoestrogens can we pack into your body through chewing up this stuff in order to chemically alter your body such that you won't have those hot flashes anymore? It is very frustrating and sometimes actually seemingly discrediting of Chinese medicine that the amount of phytoestrogens in an average dose of Tianhuanggu Shendang is absolutely biochemically not enough to stop a hot flash, but it does. So clearly we're working by a different means than that kind of biochemical dump in the stuff, make it happen by changing the chemistry. Question? Comment?
I was just curious about Western herbs, because been not trying very hard, but wanting to understand if that is truly the only and main method through which they work.
It is certainly not the only.
Someone suggested to me that it was at a level of beauty and depth similar to Chinese medicine, and I didn't.
There is no such thing really as Western herbalism is the problem. Because there are many, many traditions of Western herbalism. There are the native people of this country who most certainly have traditions that are much more tapped into, in some cases, shamanic relationship with the plant, and in some cases, effective nature of the plant, and in some cases, a mixture of the two. There's all kinds of like Humeric traditions from the ancient Greek lineages.
And a whole tribe could have a shamanic relationship with a plant.
Absolutely. So when I say Western herbalism, what I'm actually saying is the kind of herbalism where people study Western medicine and then decide to give herbs instead of drugs. Naturopaths, what they call green doctors or whatever. That they're basically saying, well, let's see if we can affect your thyroid with this. And I'm not knocking it. I'm saying it's not the same thing. I'm making distinctions so that we don't conflate what is different, and so that we can avail ourselves of what we intend to avail ourselves of for this particular necessity. So let me just say something about Gan Ying and how how Tianlong Bushendong does stop a hot flash. Which is that Gan Ying, the way that the Chinese explain what Gan Ying is they use the image of a lute, a 5-stringed instrument, that when a string is plucked on the lute, it causes the same string on a nearby lute to vibrate. This is not imaginary, this is not magical, this is physics. You can see it if you lean a guitar against a speaker and start putting on your favorite folk singer. Your guitar will start playing along with the music. Vibration, like vibration evokes like vibration when there is latent capacity for resonance. Silent strings start to hum because there was always a latent capacity for their humming already there. And then something happens that goes, and a latent capacity is awakened. This is how, with a much smaller dosage, by humming a pitch pipe, basically, Chinese herbs evoke a latent capacity, a string that's gone silent or out of tune in a person's body. The Chinese word yao for Chinese herbs, the word for herbs in Chinese, yao, means music in plant form. This is what we are doing for people. It's not coming in like benevolent thugs and rearranging biochemistry. What we're doing is blowing a few pitch pipes, creating a little theme song, if you will, in order to retune an orchestra inside of someone. Humming. Medicine without form is the literal translation of Wu Xing Shi Yao, which is the phrase that I never can remember his name. The Wenbing dude. The one who wrote the treatise on hot illnesses, the epidemics. He said that all of these formulas, yes, they're effective, but they're not that effective without the Wu Xing Shi Yao, without the medicine without form. By which he meant the quality of interaction with the client, such that we are transmitting the nature of the formula to the client and giving the formula, not just in a bottle or bag, but with our being. So that applies to herbs, and most certainly in our working with the formulas and herbs today, my interest is in giving you not just intellectual knowledge, but actually, how do I be the way Di Huang Wan? What would that feel like in my own body? So that I can, through Tong Shen Ming, through interpenetrated radiance of the heart, transmit to another body the latent potential inside of you, the lute string of Liu Wei Di Huang Wan. It's there, it's possible.